Bookworms, my name is Kaylin and welcome back to my channel Thriving in Fiction. Today we have with us a guest, my partner,
Rob.
And we're going to be doing our review for the show Invincible. So there'll be timestamps in the description below. We're going to be doing the first little bit, spoiler-free, give you our general thoughts and feelings on the show, and then we'll get into more specifics when we're digging into like the characters and the plot and the pacing and stuff like that. So there will be timestamps in the description below. All right, so general thoughts and feelings.
General thoughts and feelings.
Yes.
It was good.
Why do I ask you to do these things? It was good.
Yeah.
Rob, thank you for giving me so much to bounce off of.
You're welcome. I'm here to help.
You are, yeah. Not to derail the whole thing entirely.
Not at all, no.
Okay, it was good! Okay. What was good?
I was a really big fan of the animation style.
Okay.
I thought it was a good mix. It felt to me kind of like a mix of like standard, American animation style with whether it's Family Guy or...
It's more like old school, like the Batman animated show.
Yeah, it's certainly
Justice League.
But there's like a little bit more anime-ish to it than that too.
Yeah, it's very reminiscent of comic books. Like if you read comic books, it's very much just the comic book art coming to life.
But yeah, I like the art style a lot. I thought made it felt real, especially during some of the more violent scenes.
Yes.
It was very visceral and there's some head squishing and you could it made it feel like you could feel or see or hear the head smashing. Mm-hmm. Even though it felt like they kind of took some of the sound out of that just to make it a little less gory.
I mean, it was definitely squishy.
But in doing that, it made it feel much more visceral, I guess. Because
the animation was so reminiscent of animated shows from the past. It even reminded me a little bit of the old school X-Men.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it's an animated style that you grow up with, and it's an animated style that's mostly in these comic books that aren't necessarily as violent. Yeah. It definitely made it feel a little bit more tangible for that.
It kind of feel alive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
I thought the character work and development was really good, even though it's only 8 episodes.
Yep.
Now they are a little bit longer than a lot of, especially animated shows nowadays. I think they're mostly 40 minutes to an hour.
Yes,
roughly.
They are. Yeah, they're full length.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that helped a lot, but between the first episode and the last episode, pretty much every character had
had an arc.
At least even a little bit, even the side kind of background characters like
Rexplode, Robot.
Yeah.
Monster Girl.
Robot had a couple episodes pretty much dedicated to his story.
Yeah.
Right?
And what a fucked up story it was.
Yeah. Everybody had a little bit of development at least. It's not like anybody really got left behind. Even Mark's mother.
Debbie.
Yeah. One of the best characters in the show.
I love Debbie. Yeah. She's badass to be able to confront the things she confronted and to do so with gumption.
Yes.
Yeah, she was badass. She was one of my favorites.
Sandra Oh being a Canadian hero again.
All right. Oh, do you want to talk about the rest of the cast?
Sure, yeah.
J.K. Simmons.
I don't think he can do any wrong, really.
Oh, I think he was the perfect cast for the arc. Everything he needed to bring to Omni Man, he did.
Also, he's got the most fatherly voice ever.
Yes! Oh, he was the perfect cast because I also hear him as Tamsin in The Legend of Korra. And he's this wholesome, fatherly figure in that. But he also has these roles with more grit to them. So I found he could bring a lot to Omni Man and Nolan that not a lot of other voice actors could. Yeah,
I agree. There's during the quieter moments, he brings down the gruff a little bit. He's a little bit smoother, a little bit quieter. And then when he has to puff up his chest, he brings out "Ooh, I'm J.K. Simmons."
Is that what he does?
Yes.
That's
exactly what he does.
Adam Eve. Yeah, Gillian Jacobs?
Jillian? I don't know.
I'm sorry that we don't know how to pronounce your name. But I really loved her.
Oh, yeah.
I loved Adam Eve, too.
Yeah, her voice fit perfectly for that character, I think. And especially just a high school redhead.
Yeah.
You
She's definitely like a Jean Grey kind of substitute or like a play off that archetype.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
But yeah, she was really good. I kind of wish she had more comedy in her character.
They can't all have comedy in their character.
No, but she's so good at it, especially her like comedic timing and stuff. Like she could have played that really well. Not that the character needed it, but I thought she could have brought a little bit more of that. Because there was a few parts where she did, and it was really good.
Yep. Let's talk about Rexplode.
If you've ever seen Jason Mantzoukas in anything, that's just him.
That's just him. Yeah, he's like
loud and
Yep. Agent Pimento.
Yeah.
What else? Oh my God, Big Mouth. He's just always that.
Yeah.
That character.
Disturbing.
Yes, but hilarious.
Yeah.
Disturbing and hilarious.
Yeah. That's what you need.
Yeah. Yeah. But I thought he was a really good, really good casting for...
Oh, it was perfect for that character. Just like this...
Swagger-filled.
Yeah.
Just douchebag.
Yeah,
But like with a little bit of heart.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit of heart. Hopefully we'll see a little bit more of that heart.
I would think so.
Yeah. Robot Zachary Quinto.
I knew I recognized the voice, but I couldn't figure it out the whole time I was watching.
Zachary Quinto.
Okay.
And I love Zachary Quinto. I loved he was, again, really good choice for the robot character.
Yeah, that's true.
I was kind of sad with where his character ended up, and I don't know what role he will play with that character going forward in the future. Mark Hamill. Did you know Mark Hamill was in this?
I did, but I didn't know what character.
He played the costumer, the person that makes all the superheroes' costumes.
Yes, okay,
yeah. So,
yeah, I read that he was in it, but I didn't look up what character he was going to be.
I was
hoping I could kind of like hear it out, but...
Oh, but he can like... He's not just a voice, like he does different voices, so he can disguise his voice. So I don't know if you'd necessarily pick up on who he's playing.
Does do the best animated character voice of all time in the Joker in the early 90s.
He does.
Actually, I think he was still doing it recently.
I think so too, yeah.
Anyway, he's the best Joker.
I personally love him for his cameo episode in What We Do in the Shadows.
That works too. That was really
that is my main what I associate Mark Hamill with. Doesn't everybody?
Yes.
Not
the TV series on FX that's watched by 3 million people.
Yes.
Even though it's the best comedy currently on television.
It is. And not anything else.
No.
Oh, what's the main dude's name? He did such a good job.
Oh,
he's in The Walking Dead.
Yeah, Steven Yeun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another awesome choice.
I think his voice lends well to, especially, like, just kind of like straight edge, like, not big buff characters, but like Invincible.
Yeah.
He's like the perfect, like, he's not, you look at his father and it's like, Omni Man is like, whoa.
Yeah, he's a little top heavy.
Yeah. But like, Invincible is just like he's the size of a normal 17, 18-year-old.
ZZ Beats? Is that her?
I think so, yeah.
Amber?
I've only ever seen her in Deadpool 2, so I don't really know. I couldn't recognize her voice without looking it up on IMDb.
Yeah. She was definitely more than the archetype of the side girlfriend character who's left in the dark, who's constantly guessing, like...
Yeah, she's a very strong character.
Yes. Yeah, they definitely gave her an identity and developed her more than the archetype that she was filling, which is, I feel like that's a common thing in this series, is that these characters are archetypes. They're serving a similar role that other characters within the comic book zeitgeist fill, but they're built in such a way that they are unique. They are definitely...
They stand out from the kind of group that would be in that normal archetype.
They're definitely like these archetypes, but with a twist, with a spin, with a bend on it that definitely puts them in a new light. Yeah. And considering that this comic book series that it's based off of was published in 2003, that's like, it's very forward thinking for the time that it was started publishing in. So to wrap up our non-spoiler section, we really enjoyed it. The voice casting was amazing. The writing is solid. Yeah. If you're looking for a dark adult take on superheroes, that is a little like, yes, The Boys that's out there, but it's different. It's its own thing. The animated style makes it really unique.
You could say, like, the first episode is a little bit slow, starting out.
You're kind of wondering
You
where
have to watch
going.
it all the way. Yeah, exactly. You have to watch it all the way through.
Yeah.
You can't be like 20 minutes in and be like,
No,
this isn't for me.
No, you have to give it the full first episode.
Right through to the end of the credits.
Yep. So that is our non-spoiler section. We will now be moving into spoilers. All right, so spoilers ahead. Let's talk about that first episode. The end of that first episode.
Yes.
To viscerally and violently do away with this universe's Justice League. Like, wow.
Yeah, that was a lot.
Wow. To see Superman, like the Superman of this world.
Yeah.
The all-American boy just...
Chopping heads off with his hand.
Just chopping heads. He squeezed... He squeezed one of them right off.
Yeah.
Wow. Was not expecting that. That is where things like, this show is different.
Yeah. Yeah, the first, like, however long it is, 45 minutes or whatever, is just kind of like standard, like, this is going to be a superhero show, because I had no idea what it was about going into it.
Neither did I, really.
Like, other than some of the reviews we watched beforehand being like, you have to watch the first episode all the way through.
And they were right.
Yeah. But it's certainly, like, most of the first episode is just kind of like, okay, we're getting, like, origin story, getting to know this character, all that sort of stuff. And then right at the end, it's just,
this is why it's different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, and the trajectory that scene then takes the series, like...
It kind of, like, skyrockets from there.
Yeah. Into, like... It's not just a superhero origin story. It is a commentary on a lot of things. So yeah, you can definitely get a hint of the tone and the type of stories that this show and this series, like this comic book series, I'm assuming, wants to tell. Yeah.
Yeah, it sets up the rest of the remaining 7 episodes.
For sure.
And you get, like, your mix of the mystery of who done it.
Well,
you're
shown who done did it.
We know who did it. But when you're watching it, there's still that mystery of why did he do it?
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Is there, like, something in the background controlling him? Is he just doing this because he's crazy? Is he,
Yeah, there is the question of why.
So we see him do it.
And you see him pay for it too. He is not left unscathed from his encounter with the Guardians of the Globe.
Yeah.
And, like, let me tell you, the question is answered of if Superman and Batman ever had to go. It's not go for Batman. He ends up...
I've only been saying this since I was, like, 10.
Viscerally murdered. Yeah, it's not go for Batman.
It's, like, Omni Man is, like, the ultimate, like, Superman is the most overpowered, overrated superhero character because he could just do this and just end everything.
Yes. But comparing it to the boys, because they both have these kind of reversed Superman characters, but he's very different from the Homelander. That is a very different take on
he's
what
not evil per se. Like, he's not evil for the sake of being evil, which is kind of what Homelander is.
No, he's not. He's psychologically fucked up.
Well, yeah, that, like, they're messed up in different ways. Like, Omni Man is very much just patriot for the Voltrumites in terms of what their goals are for the universe.
Yeah.
Which is...
evil.
Conquering.
He's a colonizer.
Yeah, the first episode ending sets up the entire rest of the series. You get your mystery aspect, you get your superhero trying to figure out who and where and what they are. One
of the things I really loved about, like, the stupid little the side things that they just kind of, like, when Mark discovers he has these abilities, that his powers finally came into fruition, he's at work and he's taking out the garbage and he just launches this bag of garbage into orbit.
Yeah.
And then the next episode, you see the ramifications of that. Yeah. That is also a really heavy theme, is what if these superpowered individuals were actually duking it out in the downtown of a city. Like, there would be absolute carnage all over the streets, and you see that. If a building is collapsed, you see body parts because there were bodies in that building. Yeah. So I do think it showed itself to be a very good discussion on violence and not romanticizing it. And the ramifications of these actual battles that we actually, that we all like to experience, or like comic book enthusiasts like to experience or imagine, like what would that actually be in the real world? And it would be a lot of death.
I remember after Man of Steel, sorry.
Man versus Steel. Just punching some steel.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of what the last fight is.
Man of Steel.
Man of Steel, you know. There's a lot of discourse around that, I remember.
Is that the first one? Oh, yes.
Where they, like, just completely destroy the city.
Yeah. There's, like, no ramifications.
Yeah.
Superman is still loved.
Yeah. But I remember, like, after that came out, there was a lot of discourse around that. Of, like, you can't just destroy a city and everything be fine.
Yeah. It doesn't,
And you really, really see it in this.
Yes, for sure.
Especially in, I think it's is it the last episode or the one just, like, the second last episode where they're fighting in, I think it's Chicago? He gets, like, punched from, like, the middle of nowhere into the city and just completely destroys, like, an entire city block.
And he tries to save the people in the building and then the building collapses, and then he's left holding a severed arm.
Yeah, that's probably one of my favorite parts of the series, is that the way they talk about the violence and the destruction.
Yeah.
It's always just kind of swept aside the other ones, which, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah.
It's hard to cover that in an Avengers movie.
Yeah. And even though you're talking about people who are invincible, or these superpowered individuals, the hits count. They don't get right back up. The violence has consequences, severe consequences, both physically and mentally. These characters feel everything that's done to them, that they do to others, and I don't know, it's just such good storytelling.
Yeah.
Oh, another visual gag that I really liked, like, you know, Mark launching the garbage bag up in the air one episode, and then it and then it kills people the next episode. Was the visual gag with the title card. Like, every time someone went to go say Invincible, the title card would come up. And every time it was just a little bit more blood-filled and a little bit more blood. And then the end, it's just all red because it's like, oh my god, you can't stop the carnage.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading an article about that last night. And, like, that was very much on purpose.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But the main reason that they did, like, just the little punchy card is that they didn't have a lot of money or time to build, like, an actual one. So I guess Robert Kirkman and the showrunner, they just decided to do, like, this quick little, either you do a long one that people can watch over and over again that's really well made. People always watched the Game of Thrones kind of intro because they changed it a little bit every episode. But they're like, either going to do a really long one like that.
Like iconic,
or just tell people what it is. They went more towards just tell people what it is, and then they added the blood in to kind of represent the more blood that the series ends up kind of showing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it was Robert Kirkman's idea to put it melded into
the dialogue.
To the dialogue, yeah.
Good choice. Debbie is my hero. She got some balls on her.
Yeah. Who the hell stands up to Superman? Or the Superman stand-in. I would like to see Lois Lane stand up to Superman.
When you know he murdered your friends.
Yeah.
And not only that, but you've seen him slowly become glib and standoffish. And, I mean, at one point so he whisks her away to Europe, and then this thing busts out of the building and starts, like, demolishing the area around him. And he's just there like, I'm not on the clock. Like, what the hell? Let Cecil earn his paycheck.
Yeah.
Red flags, man. Red flags.
Yeah. That's when she already knows. But
when she's suspecting.
Yeah.
I enjoyed, because a lot of those characters, the mother character, the wife character is relegated to the side. Yeah. Same with a character like Amber, that character. They're usually relegated to the side. They serve whatever purpose they need to serve in order to enhance the hero storyline, but she really had her own. And as much as she didn't want to admit what she thought was happening, and as much as we watched her in denial and trying to stay in denial, she also came to a point where she couldn't be in denial anymore and 100% confronted her overpowered, murderous husband. Like, that is... And tells him to get the hell out of her house. And fuck you, Nolan. Like, that is... Yeah. That is some next level.
Yeah. At the end of the series, you know she's a good mother throughout the whole thing, just the way Mark kind
Because
of is
of
as a
Mark,
character.
yeah.
At the end, he joins his father not knowing what has happened. His father doesn't really have to tell him. He figures it out and then is just like, yeah, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
Because of how well his mother raised him.
It calls back to that, I don't know if it was the first or second episode where he does get his powers, and I forget what they were talking about, but they're having, like, Debbie and Mark are having a little bit of a confrontation in their backyard, and she asks him to go inside.
Yeah.
And he says, make me. And she comes right back with, does that make you feel strong? Does that make you feel powerful, knowing that I can't physically make you? And I was just like,
yeah,
I love her.
Yeah, she's like the perfect non-superpowered kind of character for that, especially in that.
She was definitely I felt she was the rock that the entire series was built on, because she was the rock that the Grayson family was built around.
Yeah. And I mean, she's very much a way for us to get into the series. Her not being superpowered, and her, you know, she's kind of seeing a lot of the same stuff we are. Like, we know what's happened, but we kind of don't know why. So we're kind of figuring out the same way she is.
Yeah.
And I think that she's kind of the base character that you kind of latch onto in order to understand the series a little bit more and understand some of the different aspects of it.
Demon Detective!
I think he should have a side series.
He was great. I loved him.
That's the spin-off I want.
What was his name again?
I don't remember.
I enjoyed that the visual clue that this character was entering the scene was the coldness.
Yeah.
Because demon, like, they make it cold. So like the character's breath would start fogging up, and I see, a demon is here, and he's here to detect things.
Yeah.
I loved that.
Yeah, he was really good.
It's really sad when they sent him back to hell. He didn't deserve that. He was just trying to do his demonly duties.
Yeah. How about the fact that they built a giant cyborg army at the end?
This is true. That's definitely got some future ramifications.
I'm guessing there's going to be a big chunk in the second season where Mark kind of starts questioning.
I think Cecil will move into the forefront of possibly being the villain of upcoming storylines, because
going to do the classic, I'm trying to help humanity.
Yeah.
Which you are. But
do the ends justify the means?
Yeah, exactly.
That is always
that's where that story goes.
Yes, that is like the Nick Fury of it all.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that leads to a very interesting second season or third season if they don't kind of find out until later.
Yeah.
But there is certainly a lot of stuff.
Oh, not everything was wrapped up.
No. But they're even just expanding on that. In this first season, there's a lot of questions around how does humanity deal with superpowered individuals, which is kind of an aspect of every superhero universe, really. But in this one, it's a lot more present, I think, just because, you see the government agency a lot.
Well, and it's not just a fun little romp.
You see, it's constantly talking about the ramifications of having superpowered individuals, whether it's the destruction they cause. Should we rely...
How to control them.
Yeah. Should we rely on this one team of superpowered individuals to protect us from all of the other superpowered individuals? And how does that work if that team decides to go rogue?
Well, and they were clearly planning for that, because in the last episode,
space laser.
They threw absolutely everything they possibly could at Omni Man. That they clearly had it in their arsenal for a reason.
Yeah. But also, Cecil knew that none of those things would work against Omni-Man. It's just slowing him down.
Until Mark could get there.
Yeah, or at least more superpowered individuals, because the team, the new Guardians
of the Globe.
Yeah, new Guardians of the Globe came and kind of helped at the end, too.
No, they were smart. They were like, I know what happened.
True.
That blood smear on the wall is telling me everything I need to. I will go and help the people that are buried. I'm not going to fight that man. Yeah. Ooh, there was also a lot of themes of identity of what makes an individual, especially with the Mahler twins. Yeah. And the cloning, and which is the original, that fight that they were like glibly having. Yeah. But it kind of it came back around in the end with Robot storyline and where that character ended up, because he died. Like, the character that we have now moving forward is a new version of the character we had been with that entire first season. So it raises questions on identity, what makes us an individual, what makes us human, what makes us, So I did like that aspect as well.
Yeah.
I also loved all of the Run the Jewels. Like, they must be, Killer Mike just must be rolling in the money from all of the royalties.
That's true.
Killer Mike and LP. Because, I just love that. It fit their vibe so well. And I love Run the Jewels, so.
Well, yeah.
Little side note, Run the Jewels is awesome.
What about Mark? We haven't talked about him at all,
really,
and he's like the main character.
He is the main character, and as interesting as I find him, I find everyone else around him way more interesting. Like,
not to belittle a little bit, but I think it's because it's, it's an origin story.
We've seen origin stories.
He's a 17, 18-year-old.
He's very much like Spider-Man. He's a high school student trying to balance this, lying to his girlfriend, and all that. And that was one thing I didn't 100% like about Amber's character was when that episode where they were at the university and shit goes down and Mark goes missing, but Invincible is there and she gets mad at Mark for going missing, for abandoning them in this, like, high-stress, violent, dangerous time. And then he decides to tell her that he is invincible, and she's like, yeah, I know. I'm mad at you for lying. Well, then just tell him that. Just call him on his shit. Don't stoop to his level and lie to him about why you're mad, because he's lying to you, but she was a straight shooter, and I wanted her to be true to that aspect of her character, to just be like, I know you're invincible, and I know you're lying to me, and I'm not going to have that. So that was one thing I felt could have been handled a lot better about her character, because she was well fleshed out. She had goals and interests of her own, and she was the catalyst in Adam Eve's character arc for, like, launching her into her own
philanthropy.
Her own little brand of philanthropy. Yeah. So I really enjoyed Amber and her screen time, but I felt like that conflict was manufactured and not true to the character as they were depicting her.
Yeah. I think hopefully they'll go into that kind of conflict a little bit more in the second season.
So Amber, Mark, I enjoyed him, and I enjoyed his voice actor.
But his story wasn't probably as interesting as some.
Not until the end. Not until he came around to realizing who his father was and what his father was trying to do. Then he was interesting, and I loved him for his heart. Yeah. And I mean, how many times did he end up in the hospital? Or invincible he is not. Yeah. But
he didn't die.
He didn't die, but he's not invincible. Shit happens to him.
Yeah.
A lot happens.
Yep.
So anyway, I enjoy his heart, and he's definitely willing to put himself on the line for the betterment of humanity. He has a big heart. He loves his family. He loves everyone around him. He's he's willing to sacrifice. But he didn't really become interesting until he was staring at his murderous father. Yeah. And having to come to terms and reconcile that, and to do it, like, in real time. He didn't get time to go, like, all up in his thoughts and feelings, and he was confronted with it, and he had to deal with it. And he did, and he didn't back down, facing almost certain death. And what saved him was his humanity. What saved him was not his Vulturmite. Vulturmite?
Yeah.
Not his Vulturmite half. What saved him was his mother's influence and his humanity and his love for his father, even though his father was putting him through subways and basically hitting him with mountains.
Yeah. As you do.
That subway scene. Oh, look at the chubby German Shepherd. Oh, he's rotund. He's happy to be out, though.
Yep.
But when he became interesting was when his humanity started, like, when that whole thing came about. Because that is... You go from, hey, Dad, we're fighting this big creature, let's boom, boom, pow, pow, and, oh, you just ripped that hero in half in front of my eyes.
Yep.
So, that's when he became interesting to me.
Yeah, basically talked his father out of killing him.
Yeah, like I said, it was humanity, his heart. His father, you know, was saying to him, because Viltrumites live long, so what are you going to have? All of these people that you care about are going to be dead. Your mother's going to be dead. Amber's going to be dead. All of these people around you are not permanent. Is what will last. And he's beaten the ever-loving shit out of his son. Mm-hmm. And then he screams at him, what are you going to have? You, Dad. I'd still have you. It was that heart. And that's what broke Omni Man. That's another thing too, because you meet Omni Man and you think he's one thing, and you get these little hints that and then the end of the episode, and then you're still not quite sure, but you're getting these little hints that something's not right with him. Like, he's not who he says he is. Yeah. Something feels broken with this character, but you get, like, in that ultimate conflict, you get these flashbacks of him remembering Mark growing up, of him. I think they were at a baseball game, and you see that he is experiencing emotion and feelings and humanity really for the first time. Mm-hmm. And it breaks him. It absolutely breaks him. He is not as tough as he thinks he is. No. Okay, let's talk about Robot. Let's talk about Robot.
Because he's not really a robot.
He's not really a robot. He is a disfigured thing living in a vat of liquid controlling robots. Like, he's the brain controlling the appendages that are these robots. And you find out that it was this character in the vat the whole time that was controlling this robot. So Robot's doing these things. He's letting the Muller twins out of jail. He's stealing Rexplode's DNA. Yep. He's doing shit, and you're not really sure why. And then it's like, he's this disfigured thing in the vat. He's growing himself another body. He's growing himself another body based on the DNA of Rexplode because he has a crush on Monster Girl, and Monster Girl likes the way Rexplode looks. Yes. And it's just so very fucked up.
Monster Girl is like a 30-year-old.
In a 12-year-old body. Yeah. And he's the 30-year-old, but he grows himself like a 14-year-old body, and it is just...
And also, she's going to keep getting younger. Meanwhile,
Is he going to age?
Well, I don't know.
Is he going to age?
Do clones age? Especially if they're, like, not clones from birth. They're clones from 14. Don't think it's ethical.
You don't say. But, like... You take this character, you think you've seen the Data character, you've seen this almost cold and aloof character with the team surrounding him. But then you're just, that's a twist. That's a twist. Yeah. That is a twist.
That's where you go.
And it is twisted. Yeah. But you also, like, you feel for him. At one point, he's like, when they're transferring him out of the vat of liquid that he's existing in, and they're hooking him up to the machine to download his brain into the clone, the body that he grew. He says the air hurts him. Like, you still feel for him. Like, oh my God, that cannot be a good existence.
You 100% know where he's coming from.
I think he was very much accepting of the fact that he will only exist in this way. He will only experience the world through these robots until he met Monster Girl. Yeah. And...
Yeah, I think he was... he was obviously going to be in pain, but I think he was accepting of that pain. Yeah. Being the fact that, hey, I can still live and do good through my robot kind of, I don't know what you would call it, but your robot, I guess.
Your robots? Yeah. Your robot appendages?
Yeah. But yeah, then you meet somebody who basically love at first sight almost kind of on his part.
Yeah, and she's 12, so it's weird. Well, she's physically 12. Yeah. There's just a lot to unpack. Yes. A lot to unpack there. Like, I'm not qualified to unpack that. They're young, but they're not young. Yeah. He also stole Rexplode's DNA. Yes. That's not ethical. And Rexplode is like, dude.
But you see why he did it.
I know, and that's good writing. Yeah. That is good writing. Yeah. Ultimately, it comes down to this is an exceptionally written TV show. Yeah. Superhero TV show.
Definitely.
Alright guys, so that has been our discussion on the Amazon Prime show Invincible. Thanks Rob for being here today.
Anytime.
Thank you. Like and subscribe if you haven't already.
Hit the bell.
Hit the bell. Apparently that's a thing. Hit the bell for notifications. That's what people say. Yep. That's what the YouTubers say. Yep. Hit the bell. Mm-hmm. Drop a comment if you've seen the show, if you'd like to have more of a discussion in the comment section. And I'll see you in my next one, guys. Bye.